Year-old Milan is a rising junior tennis prodigy making waves in the Las Vegas area, catching the attention of pros like Andre Agassi and Novak Djokovic. And we are pleased to have the Tysons of tennis with us here on TC Live. Champ and Milan. You guys enjoying the Open so far?
Yep.
Yes. It's getting so hot out here, though.
I know, right? It's like the Thrilla in Manila out here. It's so hot.
Watching.
Look, I think a lot of tennis fans, Champ, would be surprised to know that you're involved in the sport. When did you follow it when you were a young guy? Did you ever pick up a racket as a young guy?
I'm from New York, of course, and we always know about John McEnroe. He's a New Yorker, so we're all big fans of him, and we're all aware of him. But as far as being a fan, I never knew much about it. I knew about John McEnroe, Bjorn Borg, Yvonne Lindner, but I knew all of them just because of following John McEnroe.
I want to ask this, Champ. Your dad was a great fighter, but you know what also he was? He was a great boxing historian. He really knew all about the sport. So I want to ask you, who do you like here in professional tennis? Who do you admire? Who are your favorite players?
Bethanie Mattek-Sands, Serena Williams, Venus, Shelby Rogers, Sloane, and Coco Vandeweghe.
Wow, that's a nice list of American players. How would you describe your game, Milan? What's your best stroke? What are you great at?
I'm pretty good at my forehand and my volleys.
How's your jab?
What kind of tennis dad is your dad? When he sits and watches you play, is he quiet and sit on his hands and clap politely, or does he shout encouragement at you on the court?
He clapped his hands quietly.
What are the other parents around practice say when you
they're
show up?
wild people.
One,
Giving signs, private signs, coaching the kids when they're not supposed to coach the kids.
You don't do that. Don't send her back to the corner in between rounds.
No, I don't do that.
I want to ask you, Mike, you are one of the few people here who knows what it's like to compete in an individual sport, big crowd, all sorts of pressure. When you're watching matches here, we've seen you at Indian Wells, we've seen you at the French Open. When you're watching matches, what are you seeing?
I'm noticing that the ball is faster than the eye, actually. It's because I was watching Serena play the other night, and the ball was, when she was hitting the ball instead of going straight, it was going, I'm like, what the heck? And it was just something I just couldn't fathom.
We like to use boxing as a metaphor sometimes in tennis, because like boxing, obviously not the contact part of it, but it's one-on-one, mano-a-mano. You've got to figure it out on your own. Your corner crew can't get... Do you see the parallels between the two?
Actually 100%. That's why most tennis players are mostly in tune with themselves, because they know they have that individuality that when they play in the sports, they're by themselves. And they're truly not actually by themselves, because I saw that they let the coaches come down in certain...
the women do, yeah.
Yeah, they let the coaches, which I think is a good idea.
I want to ask you, Milan, your father had a very close relationship with his trainer, his coach, Cus D'Amato. I don't know if you've talked to you about him, but I want to know about your coaching. Who is the figure in your life that's helping guide you through this whole journey as an athlete?
Sean.
Tell me about him.
He's a very nice coach. I just started working with him. He fixed my stroke because I used to do like this. Used to just go like that, but now I go through and I hit much better. And my volleys used to be like, and now it's this. So
much better technique.
I feel like I'm getting better with him. So, and he's very nice. But when we're on the court, he'll yell, no, you're the worst, you're the worst. And then off the court, he's like, let's go get ice cream.
You got to hit, well, you've had a chance to hit with some pretty famous tennis players. One that I saw online was Novak Djokovic. What was that like, hitting with one of the greatest players of all time?
Awesome.
Were you nervous?
Yeah, he's really nice.
Yeah.
And he was like very funny, and so I'm pretty sure he took it easy on me, because if he went hard, he would snap my head off. Like.
We don't want that.
Look, being a tennis parent, Champ, is complicated, and she's not just a tennis player. She's obviously a student and a normal 9-year-old, and we saw that she plays piano. How do you and your wife Kiki balance all of her activities and responsibilities and still try to keep it?
My wife does this. She does this very well. Because my main objective is just to keep her focused on that. This is your objective. This is your whole life is dedicated to being a champion. Because championships are meant to be won, and you should win as many of them as possible. And if you don't do that, you're really in the wrong kind of business.
I want to ask Milan about last year's champion here, Sloane Stephens, who I know is a favorite player of yours, and I understand you've met her. Tell me what you know about Sloane and what you like about her, why she's one of your favorites.
Sloane is one of my favorites because she's just very nice when you get to meet her too. And she's a very good tennis player. She's well-rounded. She's like a Federer on the court. She's really good. She's nice.
She would be happy to hear that. Mike, I want to ask you, we've been talking all day about the heat, the humidity. So playing tennis for 3 hours and 104 degrees, getting punched in the face. Which one hurts more? Which one's preferable?
They're both very painful.
You imagine competing in these kind of conditions, though?
Oh, we were always indoor. We were lucky.
But the more another parallels between boxing and playing tennis in this heat is that the more you train and punish yourself in training, the more prepared, right, you are to endure it in the match.
In the match. I agree 100%. You have to train like you're going to play, and that's the only way that you can adapt to playing with great competition.
Milan, you, among all the other things that we mentioned, are a Net Generation ambassador for the USTA. We've seen the Net Generation program here at the Open trying to bring tennis to young kids all over the country. Talk about what you're doing with that and why that's important to you.
It's important to me because I feel like I'm going to be an inspiration to all the other kids out there and can prove that you can do it.
I want to ask you, Mike. I mean, here you see, look at that clean stroke right there. Your coach is you're teaching you well. But Mike, I want to ask you. We're all going to have a lot of fun with this, and Mike Tyson, the tennis dad. But I have a serious question. What are you trying to impart on Milan? I mean, you've been a world famous athlete. You see her training, you see how she's connecting power with accuracy, which is something you need in boxing. What are the lessons you're trying to teach her, though?
To have the skill and the technique is also, that's pretty good too, but you have to have the discipline and the desire, and know that sometimes when you want to be the best in the world in anything, there's going to be some disappointment, and you can't get discouraged or frustrated. You know that your day is going to come one day.
The other thing, and John mentioned Customato, and anybody that knows anything about your career knows what an important guy he was in terms of mentoring you as a young guy. Do you see some of the coaches in Milan's life providing that kind of mentorship that sometimes parents can't provide? It has to be somebody else.
Yeah, that's why she has a great coach in Sean. Sean is just absolutely gem.
When you watch these matches here, are you thinking about yourself? I mean, when you watch a sporting event, is it hard to divorce yourself from that? Do you see yourself as an athlete?
I look at myself sometimes as an athlete. I look at the psychological grievances I know athletes go through, and sometimes their confidence gets shaken and they have to regroup their confidence, and that's sometimes impossible to do. But only the great ones do it.
Tell us about what's going on with you outside of the ring. We know that your one-man show was a pretty big success. You've taken it around the country, around the world. What are you doing with that, and what's going on with you right now?
Well, we're doing that internationally now. Yeah. And then now we have a movie that Jamie Foxx is going to portray me in the Mike Tyson story.
You like that casting?
Right.
Yes.
That's
got to put on a
casting job. Yeah. We said at the top of the show, what's the famous quote? Because we think it applies to tennis, too. Everybody has a plan until...
They punched in the mouth.
Yeah, we saw a couple guys get punched in the mouth, figuratively speaking.
You saw like the first round that Halleck lost in the first round. That was amazing. They just couldn't believe it.
Knockout.
You proud, Papa, Mike?
Absolutely, yes.
You proud of your dad? It's nice having the Tysons of tennis here on TC Live. Milan, continued success with your tennis. When you win the U.S. Open, don't stiff us with the post-match interview,
here, right?
okay? You come talk to us?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Milan Tyson, Mike Tyson. Thanks, champ. Thanks, Milan.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on her. She is a great smile and a really nice young player, and we will be back with more in New York in a moment.